Hey guys, welcome to the Provokers Podcast, where we talk about things that you probably should too. Today I'm joined by...
I'm John with Jeebins Feebins.
And of course, I am your lovely host for this evening, this afternoon, this morning. Doesn't matter when you're listening to this. Maybe you're listening to this at 3 a.m. like I do when I get no sleep. Just how the ball rolls. But speaking of getting the ball rolling, now let's go move into small talk. And, John, you been doing any exciting things? You jump out of planes? You blow up some orphanages? Anything exciting?
I've been playing Deltarune.
And where can they watch you play Deltarune, John?
They can watch me play Deltarune at Jeebins Feebins Twitch channel or on the Jeebins Feebins VOD channel. I believe another one is about to go up. It's definitely by the time you've listened to this, it's been up, but that's where you can find me.
Nice. Yeah, and of course, you might also see another handsome devil over there while he's playing it, because, there's so many characters in those games, or in that game, that, if John were to voice them all, he'd be dying. He'd be just gone the moment he tried to voice all of them, so.
Yeah. I imagine that there'd be less, variety in the voices if I were to do all
that. Too.
A lot less Chainsmokers.
A lot less Chainsmokers. There is, I think, someone in Chapter 4 that would definitely fit like a Chainsmoker voice. I'll let you know when we get to him, but... Yeah, John's, if you're listening to this on the Friday this comes out, which is 3 weeks from now? 4 weeks from now? Whatever, we're in July at this point, whatever you're listening to this. John is probably done with the pacifist route. He might be on the genocide route. If not, he might be done with it. It depends, because the genocide/mean route, a lot of the story is the same in 3. There's a couple of differences, and there's a couple of different things John's gonna be doing in 3 that he missed. And then... in Chapter 4 changes a little, quite a bit, but we'll see. So it depends on where we're at, I guess, because also John's going to be going on a trip here pretty soon, so that will obviously, we won't be recording for that. Not recording, we won't be streaming for that week, so that kind of stuff. But just go on and follow him. That way you can tell what he's doing, because it tells you in the title, assuming he changes it, so, Because there's been times where John's rickrolled me basically. I'll open the stream, it says Spider-Man or something, and he's playing Batman. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. So as long as he doesn't rickroll you, you'll be able to tell what you're doing or what he's doing.
Yes, most of the time I remember, but not always.
But not always. Remember, he's only been streaming for 5 years.
Gosh, it really has been that long. It's crazy.
Yeah, COVID's also 5 years, so that's crazy to me, dude. I mean, there's a theory that I don't really believe, but there's a theory out there that 2020 or COVID killed all of us, and then we just really I don't know what the whole theory is of I don't know how they got past the fact that we're dead. So I don't know if the theory runs around the fact that we woke up or something, or that we reincarnated. I'm not sure what their thing is, but the theory is that COVID killed us, and that's why everything feels so different now. I don't personally believe that because we're still alive, but it's an interesting theory, but it's not a correct theory, probably, so...
Yeah, I'd say the likelihood of us being dead is less than the likelihood of us being alive.
Yeah, it's fair. But yeah, so that's an interesting theory, but again, probably not actually accurate. As for my week, pretty mundane, man. I mean, I did go sign a lease for a new apartment, so that is really been the only... I mean, that's not even exciting, it's just interesting, I guess. So that happened. This coming week's gonna be nice though, because this coming Saturday, for me, not for you guys. This coming Saturday, I'm going to a cookout. We're gonna have brisket, hot dogs, hamburgers, brisket, mac and cheese. Oh man, it's gonna be really good.
Nice.
And I get to spend time with a lot of friends and family and stuff, so it's gonna be awesome. And then the next week after that, it's gonna be interesting as well. So I have a lot of good upcoming weeks, but this week's been kind of mundane. So, but yeah, with that being said, we're going to move on into headlines, I guess. This one's pretty interesting, and John, do you remember all the way back, I think it was 1 year or 2 years ago, I'm not sure when it was. There was a little mini, I say mini because it only lasted a couple days, mini Jacksepticeye and Mr. Beast controversy, right, where Jacksepticeye was taking a lie detector test, and someone asked him if he liked Mr. Beast, and he said no, and then I forgot who was asking him the question, but they gave a follow-up question saying, do you think he ruined YouTube? And he said yes to that. And so that sparked a whole thing of Jack hates Mr. Beast. And then the Mr. Beast fans started attacking the Jacksepticeye fans, and then vice versa and stuff. So it became this whole thing, but then it kind of died down pretty much immediately because I guess they talked it over in DMs and stuff. Well, it came back, and for maybe a bit of a better reason. I mean, Jacksepticeye is still very much entitled to his opinion if he doesn't like someone, right? But I'm saying that this one seems, to me, I agree a bit more with this controversy than I did the last one. So MrBeast created a company called ViewStats, which is essentially a company that makes AI thumbnails, which I already don't like. But not only do they make AI thumbnails, but apparently it draws from existing channels so you can create similar thumbnails to that creator. So let's say I'm using ViewStats and I want to make a thumbnail just like Markiplier. It will draw from Markiplier's existing thumbnails to create an AI one based on Markiplier's thumbnails. So really, it's kind of plagiarism in a way, because you can't call that inspiration when you're taking something from someone else and making it your own. That's not what inspiration is. Inspiration is looking at something and being like, oh, that's cool, let me try my own thing. That's not the same thing. And so Jack responded to this saying, and another thing that I should mention on Jack's side of things is his logo was being promoted in this thing, which he had no prior knowledge or consent to do so. So Jacksepticeye basically said, what the heck? He didn't use the word heck, but you can assume what he said. So yeah, he didn't use that word, but I'm not going to say the actual word. He said, what the actual heck? And he used my logo and the promotion for it too. I hate what this platform is turning into. FAI. So it was less so directed at MrBeast. I mean, it still is. But it was more so directed towards AI content creation, which obviously no one likes. Because it's kind of turning brain dead content, or it's turning content into brain dead content, which is basically not what we want. But then some other creators started speaking out against it. So for example, you might know the name Point Crow. He is I'm not actually sure really what he does. I don't really watch his content, but I saw that he had posted something. A speedrun? Okay, that makes sense. He said, so MrBeast gets to complain about channels stealing his thumbnails, then turn around and make a tool that does the same thing but faster and cheaper. He promotes his new AI tool in a video on the site saying that it can copy any channel's style of thumbnails for YouTube videos, and even edit it so that your face is in the thumbnail instead of the original creator. He initially states it so that this can be used for inspiration, quote-unquote, but then continues on and notes that this will literally be the way you generate your thumbnails going forward. I spend days, weeks, sometimes months thinking of thumbnails, working with artists to craft the perfect one, and you've made something that can steal mine and my artist's hard work without a thought. Your model is clearly trained on all of our thumbnails and uses them without any creator's permission. It makes it not only easy, but it attempts to make this socially acceptable too. So yeah, that's basically the TLDR of what he said. So yeah, it's just, I already kind of hate AI thumbnail crap. I think it looks bad. I think it's uncreative in every single fashion because you're just getting a robot to do your bidding basically, instead of actually putting in a little effort to make something yourself. So yeah, I've always disagreed with AI thumbnails, but for MrBeast to come out and make a company on it, I'm not so sure because I like the way he donates and stuff, but at the same time, you can't be hypocritical because he's always been complaining about people taking his thumbnail ideas and stuff like that. You can't say stuff like that and then proceed to turn around and make a company that does that exact same thing to everyone else on the platform, basically, or at least the major channels. So yeah, I'm in full agreement with Jacksepticeye here because in the past controversy, I wasn't really on anyone's side necessarily because they both. It was just because I believe Jack was entitled to his opinion, but I also liked MrBeast at the time. So, yeah, it's just, I'm not the big fan of this. I hope it really doesn't take off in any sort of way. Unfortunately, I think it would because people are lazy and they'll spend, I think it's $80, by the way, per month or something. I see people dropping that money to just have everything handed to them. I can totally see that. So it might bring in some revenue. I just hope it doesn't take off in the way that everyone's going to use it or something. Because I think artists should not be replaced by robots. That shouldn't really be a controversial thing to say, but apparently it is. So, yeah, but that's my take on it. What do you think about it, John?
Yeah, I saw I think it was a Reddit post, basically just showing the response from Jacksepticeye. And people are like, it's so dumb for them to take his stuff and use it for their AI. Because he literally has a video about how he makes his thumbnails. So if you wanted to make a thumbnail in a similar style to his, but make it your own, you can't. And he shows you how to do it, and like says, but in that sort of way, it's not stealing his thumbnails and putting your face on it, or stealing the style, because you're making it your own with learning from him how he did it. That is a more collaborative experience and a better experience than just, oh, what's this? All of your stuff, it's now mine. And it's different because it has my face on it, even though it's the exact same otherwise.
Right.
Like, obviously that's ridiculous and shouldn't be regular or normalized, but
right.
You know, these companies, they're like, oh, this is cheaper than actual hiring people to do creative things. And
right.
It's just, I think I've mentioned before that I'm not super against AI in general, but the way it's being used, I don't think is productive, and especially like this.
Right. Yeah, and I think, you know, creatively, right, I enjoy making thumbnails. Not that they're the best thumbnails on YouTube, because that'd be a bold-faced lie, but just that I enjoy making them. Right. Like, I love making the thumbnails for special series. Like, if you go to my channel, a lot of the gaming thumbnails I do are just from the game, just because there's a lot of good thumbnails that can be made there. But with special series like Mario Maker 2 Era of Darkness, or Char's Challenges, or Minecraft Tales, which is my favorite one to work on for the thumbnails, because with Minecraft Tales specifically, if you've not seen Minecraft Tales, it's basically, if you love horror and you love Minecraft, you would absolutely eat that stuff up. Minecraft Tales is essentially a series, I think I might have mentioned this once before on this specific podcast, but Minecraft Tales on my channel is essentially it's videos, and it's unscripted. And so what I do is I download a horror mod, and I know, like, initially going into it, sort of what the creature is, but I don't know what they do, I don't know what powers they have, I don't know what they do as soon as you load the game, like that kind of stuff. So I'm going in blind, but it's structured as in, like, a found footage type thing. And it's really fun to play, it's really fun to edit, and it's really fun to make thumbnails for, because the thumbnails I try to make as creepy as possible, because the monsters are horrific. And that's probably, honestly, if someone were to ask me what's your favorite series on your channel, it'd probably be that, because creatively there's so much I can do with it. There's like the fact that it's unscripted, so when a monster comes running at me out of the darkness, I'm actually terrified because I didn't realize they could do that. Or like, for example, one of the mods that I installed has the creature where they can go through one black gaps, which only Silverfish, I think, can do that. And so when you see this tall, lanky creature like crawl through a small gap, I was petrified because I'm like, what? So yeah, I'm genuinely terrified, and that's why I'm leaving it unscripted, because I want to be actually terrified. So I get a thrill out of it, and then the viewers get a thrill out of it because it's in a found footage type area, and there is a bit of lore into it if you want to look into that. But it's really fun to work on, and the thumbnail is even better in the sense that I get to creatively make a thumbnail for it, and I get to zoom in on, like, take a good picture of the creature and, like, zoom in on it, make it super creepy, add some darkness effects, add some blur on the edges, like that kind of stuff. It's fun to make that. And so I would never go to an AI platform and be like, hey, here's what I want, give it to me. Because I just, like, I've seen other people do that, and it looks like garbage. And you can tell it's AI. So yeah, I would never in a million years use that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I would agree with you. Like, a lot of my thumbnails, like I said, some of them are kind of lazy. I just pick up a random picture of a character from the game and put my face on it. But some of them I do put in a good amount of effort in, and I enjoy doing that. And I think it's kind of sad to see people being like, oh, I just don't want to do this. It's I'm going to take the lazy route that will probably just, like, get me the quick buck.
Right.
And, like, that's not creative. That's just lame. Get a life, dude.
Because AI thumbnails are already on YouTube, and I've scrolled past a couple of them. You want to know what I keep doing, or want to know what I do? I keep scrolling. I don't click on them because I'm like, you couldn't even be bothered to make a thumbnail yourself or pay someone to make it unique. So why would I think there's any effort put into your actual video? You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't do it, man.
Yeah, I remember there was, like, one channel that I watched that did a AI thumbnail, and I think people are like, this is shitty. You shouldn't do this. This is not great business practice. And they're like, you know what, you're right. And then didn't do it ever again. Which I guess, like, out of all of the people who've done the AI things, that's probably the better way of doing it. Is like, because it was right when it like first started seeing it, you know. So they probably didn't even like think too much about it. They were just like, "Oh, this is a new thing, a new way of doing it." And then the people were like, "This isn't great," and they're like, "You know what? I agree," and then they changed their mind. Not many people will do that sort of thing. People will be like, "No, I'm right. It's so much better. You're wrong."
Right. Yeah, and I've heard all the different arguments for it, but I just can't agree with it. So that's just, you know.
Right.
When it comes to AI thumbnails specifically, obviously, like John was saying earlier, there's uses for AI that are actually pretty good, but this is not one of them. So.
Yeah.
But moving on from the world's problems, or I guess YouTube's problems, we have a career showcase. I would read some more emails, but I was scrolling through them this morning, and a lot of them were still about the whole situation thing, which again, as I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, where we answer the questions. I think there's a chapter for it, actually, so if you can find it, which episode it is pretty quickly. I mentioned that's the last time we're talking about it. I've moved on from it a while ago, so I don't really care about it anymore. And I don't want this podcast to be... The future of this podcast, what I should say, is like being surrounded in it. So I've detached from it already. I can't speak for John, but my guess is from what I've heard from him, he already has too. So yeah, we're not going to be talking about it anymore. I tried to answer as many questions as I could in that one episode. So if you still have questions, head on over to that episode, and I think we've answered most of them, or at least the basic ones. So yeah, if you do send an email in though, and if it's not about the situation, I will be happy to read it on the podcast though. So I have a creator showcase this time. And it's the YouTube name is Liquor Store 352. Now that sounds just like a strange name, obviously, but what it is it's a comedy type thing. And this guy works in a liquor store, and he shows kind of like he makes comedic skits based on customers he's actually encountered. So it's like POV, you try to use a fake ID or something like that, or it's like you try to like he makes fun of the customer for having a weird drink combination. Like he'll have 3 2-liter Cokes and like 1 tiny little alcohol thing, because you can tell he's new to alcohol or whatever. I don't personally drink alcohol because I'm not really allowed to, obviously, yet anyway. So I don't really care too much about alcohol, but what makes me like these guys is they make comedy skits about it. I'm a big comedy person. If you can make me laugh, I'm subscribing. But yeah, so they're pretty good, and they make, like I said, they're really funny. And if you want some more comedy in your life, and it may just happen, maybe you are a liquor person, then maybe this could also pertain to you in that fashion as well. Maybe you'll get some of the jokes that might be flying over my head because I don't drink alcohol or whatever. So yeah, just go check them out. They're really fun.
I've actually seen a couple of his videos, and I would agree. He's very funny, very interesting stuff. I like it.
Yeah, I should also preface, it's not 100% comedy. He does do some, like, videos that are just kind of normal. The normal ones, for example, like he'll show a situation he's been through with a customer, and he'll turn to that like a side camera that he has, and he'll be like, "Okay, so what should I do here? Is this because this is basically illegal?" We'll say something like that. So there's a bit of comedy to it, but it's more of like a question because he does leave it open ended. So yeah, it's not 100% comedy, but most of the shorts are comedy related. So, but with that out of the way, John, do you hear the bells ringing?
No.
Do you hear the game show bells ringing?
Yeah, I'm deaf.
Well, you shouldn't hear the bells ring, because it's not a game show. I tricked all of you. Get wrecked. Actually, you probably read the title, so you knew it was a game show anyway. Game shows are still on the horizon. I don't know. I think I explained that in one of the episodes where we talked about what happened and stuff. Game shows are still going to happen. All of them still work. The only sort of game show idea, it wasn't really a game show, it was more just of a topic idea that it was kind of like a game, was I had a topic planned called John and Go Shopping, or Literally Go Shopping. So it was going to be a really fun video, but of course everything happened, and so now that doesn't work. But yeah, game shows still work. John's just going to be like competing against me, if you think about it, because since I'm the game show host, he's going to be competing against me. He's going to win in the end anyway, so that's why it doesn't matter who, like, why, like, because if he wasn't competing against anyone, not only would that not make any sense, but also he would still win anyway, so it doesn't matter. So he'd be competing against me, and then there's a couple game shows like the Dead Silence game show, where it was less of they were competing against each other anyway, and then they were just kind of on a team. So John will just be a solo dolo guy, right? Speaking of which, I don't know if I mentioned this. Speaking of which, I don't know if I mentioned this yet. Dead Silence is getting a part 2. It's gonna be pretty wild. Still in the works with that though. It's not done, but that's gonna be a while for that. So don't get your hopes up for that to be soon. There's gonna be another one coming up soon, but it's not gonna be that one. But, yeah, so it's not a game show, but it's going to still be a game. Because you guys might have heard of it. This was like peak 2015, 2016 era, whatever. Everyone was kind of doing these for a little while. It's the higher or lower game. And because we talk about video games a decent amount of time on this podcast, we're going to do it again. So we're doing video game edition. So that's what the plan is. Maybe if I feel like we're getting bored of the video games, I can switch it up to something else. Maybe like food or something. Then we can do something else, because food's also another common topic on the podcast. So yeah, John's gonna be playing the game. So what's gonna happen is we're a team, but I'm kind of disconnected a little bit because since I'm the host, I'm not gonna wager. Like I'll give John my opinion, but whatever John says is the answer, I'm gonna click that as the answer. And so if we fail, we get to blame John, and it's gonna be great. So John, how do you feel about all this?
Well, I know so much about so many things, and so I am probably the most qualified person to do this game show, but not even a game show, just this game.
Exactly. All right. Well, it's time. By the way, this is based on the best-selling video games. So it's based on how many games were sold. So it is not based on user popularity. It's not based on hours played or something. It's based on the actual revenue from the game. So, with that being said, we might be starting with an interesting one. So we got Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, which I didn't even know that was the name of that, or The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Okay. Twilight Princess is a very popular one, so I can imagine a lot of people buy it. I think that Liberty Stories is like an expansion, which typically get less. So I'm gonna go with the Zelda.
I would agree. I've never even heard of I've heard of Liberty City, but not Liberty City Stories. So I didn't even know that existed. So give us Zelda. Oh, it's pretty close. It's 8. Legend of Zelda had 8. What was this million? Yeah, 8,930,000 copies sold, whereas the other one had just had 8 million flat. So, okay. Now, the way high or low games work, guys, by the way, if you've not seen it yet, is the one that was correct stays as one of the options. So, for example, right now, we have Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy or The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. So, because Twilight Princess won, that stays as one of the options. And now we know how much copies it sold. So, John, do you think Crash Bandicoot sold more than 8,930,000 copies?
That is a great question, because I've played this game. I have myself bought it twice, one for PC, one for console. Overall, it's hard to say, because it is a remaster collection, which tend to be slightly less than original, depending on what's being remastered.
Right.
So, but Crash Bandicoot is a pretty popular PlayStation title. I'm going to say no, but I imagine it'd be pretty close.
Okay, so you think that Twilight Princess is still beating it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think it's possible. I also think Insane Trilogy, I could see it winning just because, for example, I didn't feel like buying all 3 games by themselves, because that'd be stupid. So when they came out with Insane Trilogy, I'm like, oh, sweet, I can get all 3 of them for one set price. And so I did that. So right. I could see it winning, but I think 8 million, because that would have to be it could be like 1,000 extra, which that'd be really mean if they did that to us. But let's go with it. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got crushed. Oh man. Okay, 20 million copies, so it was way more. But that's fair. Okay. Where's the off switch? Is the quote we got. So let's play again. Let's try this again. So, yeah, I could see it. There's ads. No, why is there ads? Ad blocker. Wait. Ad blocker. Direct. It's on. Why aren't you blocking these ads? Must be special. Okay.
Ads are too powerful.
The ads are too powerful. The ad blocker can't stop it. Okay, this one's interesting, and John, John knows about one of these, so I'm very curious. So, John, Batman Arkham City versus Call of Duty Vanguard.
I definitely know Arkham City is very loved amongst Arkham community. I don't know, I've never even heard of Call of Duty Vanguard, is the thing.
Vanguard's one of the newer ones, I think.
Oh, it's a new one? Okay.
I think.
Because if it was like Black Ops 2 or something like that, one of the super well-known ones, I'd be like, oh, probably that one.
Right.
Arkham City, I imagine, has a good amount. I just don't know. I'm gonna go Arkham City and hope that the popularity, because if it's a newer one, the popularity of Call of Duty has not gone up in later years, so I imagine it's probably gone down.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Arkham City.
I think that's a fair point. If Call of Duty Vanguard, if I'm correct in it being a newer one, it theoretically should have, I mean, not necessarily, because if it's a super popular game, it could totally be an older game. But at the same time, Call of Duty has been on a downward slope ever since Black Ops 4, and so I'm going to say I kind of agree. I don't even like Batman games, and I'm going to say I agree. 12 million copies. Yeah. Oh, we got... Never mind. Man, we suck at this, man. 30 million copies for Vanguard, 12 million for Batman.
30 million?
Damn.
Why are so many people playing Call of Duty still?
I don't know. I guess we underestimated Call of Duty, man, but that's crazy. Okay, here comes another freaking ad again. I gotta get ready to freaking mash the pause button. Hang on, wait. Ah, got it. I almost beat it. But...
The viewers be like, I thought these guys played video games. What are they doing?
I thought these guys played games. Oh, okay, this one's interesting. So we got a repeat again. So Assassin's Creed 3 or Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy again, which we recall was 20 million copies, I think.
20 million copies.
So do we think Assassin's Creed 3 specifically beat that?
Well, the 20 million? I could see it. It was definitely one of the more popular ones early Assassin's Creed games. I've yet to play it, but I do own the remake or remaster or whatever it's called. I would say Crash Bandicoot because it's a E, I think, rated game,
right?
Which means more people can buy it than an M-rated game. So there's a lot more children who can play the game, so a lot more parents buying it for Christmas gifts, and as well as the OG fans playing it again. So I'd say Crash Bandicoot. That's
fair. I think I agree. I've really not really dabbled in the Assassin's Creed games, so I don't really personally care about that game. So is this Crash Bandicoot? Come on, we can't lose 3 times in a row. That'd be insane. Okay, we got it. 12 million for Assassin's Creed and 20 million for this. Oh, no. Okay, I think I know my answer for this one, and we'll see what... Because, again, I can have my own personal opinion, but John's the one kind of controlling this, so... we got Crash Bandicoot, obviously, again, here. Yeah, you're in charge. Or Call of Duty Black Ops 1.
Okay. So, we know that Vanguard, whatever game that is, had 30 million copies, which is more than 20 million.
Yeah, so another amazing quote from John. 30 million is more than 20 million.
Yes. And Black Ops 1, I know it, so it feels like it would probably be one of the more popular ones. I think we'll go with that one. I can't. Maybe Vanguard is just like really popular in the Call of Duty community, and I get creamed again. But
I hope not, because Black Ops 1, from what I recall, is a really good game. Zombies was pretty good, and it sparked a lot of stuff with that. So I'm hoping that Black Ops wins. So let's do it. Oh yeah, okay. Only by 10 million though, but still a lot. So 30 million for Black Ops. Okay.
Right.
We have
I guess it's fair to reason. It's fair to reason that a lot of the people who are playing the newer Call of Duty games have been with the series for a long time. So if a newer one has more, then the older one's gonna have more.
Yeah. But yeah, so now we got, of course, Call of Duty Black Ops or Borderlands 3.
Okay. I know the Borderlands. Is it a trilogy? Is it just a 3? I don't know.
It's just
Borderlands series.
It's just the third game.
It's fairly popular. Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking popularity wise. Obviously that would affect sales. But 30 million? I haven't played it, so I don't know like if it's like amazing and people love it, or if it's just like it's a pretty good game.
Right.
So would it be 30 million? Maybe not. I'm gonna say it's lower. Call of Duty.
Okay, so you think it's lower? So you think Call of Duty's still winning?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do it.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. And, so 22 million for Borderlands 3. So okay. Oh, okay. I guess I haven't even played this. I haven't played high or low in a long time. So Call of Duty was still higher, but that got knocked out. So now it's Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout versus Borderlands 3.
Okay. So Fall Guys was super popular when it came out.
I would say for the first 5 months.
For the first 5 months, yeah. And then I still see people playing it, so it's not like it's like no one likes it anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a lot less popular than it once was. So, what Borderlands was at, like, what, 23 million?
It's 22 million. But another thing to consider, though, John, is Fall Guys was free for a week.
That's true.
I don't know if they count that, because if they count that, then it doesn't matter. But if they don't count that, then that's a thing to consider.
Right. Because if they don't count that, then a lot of people would have gotten it for free, and then the number would be lower. I'm going to say lower, based on hoping that they don't count the free copies, as well as, I don't know if it's 23 million copies was, or 22 plus, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Not really, but okay. So you think Borderlands is still beating it?
Yeah, I think Borderlands is higher than Fall Guys.
All right. Ooh, it was 11 million for Fall Guys. Okay, interesting. Fall Guys versus Elder Scrolls. The Elder Scrolls Online, to be specific.
Elder Scrolls Online?
Yeah.
So, that one, I have played that one. It's an interesting question, because MMOs, I don't know how many people are playing those games these days. I would imagine 11,000 for a game that popular is low. I just don't imagine that many people are playing it, but is it more or less than 11,000 thing? Because it's not one of those things where it's clear there's a huge difference, you know?
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if it was around the same amount. But I'm gonna go with higher because of how well known Elder Scrolls is.
Alright, let's I think personally Elder Scrolls, from what I've heard, is probably way popular, so I'm gonna hope that as well. And it was 18 million, so there we go.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Like I said, I played it. It's definitely not the best in the series. It's fun.
The Elder Scrolls Online versus Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. I've never even heard of this game.
Well, seeing as it sounds like a more niche game, could be lower. Or We Live Under Rocks and it's higher, but I've never heard of it. So
I've never
I'm
heard
gonna
of
say
this.
it's lower.
Okay, I would agree just because I've never heard of it, so I have a bias against it. Oh yeah, 3,500,000. Not even close.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's Oddworld Abe's Odyssey versus NBA 2K16.
Okay, well, I'm going to say NBA 2K16 is higher than 3 million.
Yeah.
Those games get a lot of return players.
Yeah, even though it's literally basically the same game over and over again, 2K16 specifically, a bunch of YouTubers played it because they sent it out to YouTubers, and so I think 2K16 sold out even more than the newer ones, so I think this is correct. So NBA 2K16, really? Not by much, 8 million, okay. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is the same game over and over again, but I thought it had a huge following. I guess not. Okay, now it's NBA 2K16.
Maybe by that point, they were...
What was that?
So maybe by that point, people had been like, "Oh, I'm done playing the same game. I have the game already.
Yeah, but NBA 2K16 had a bunch of YouTubers play it, which I thought would have spiked it even more. I mean, maybe it is more. Maybe 8 million is good for this type of game. I don't know. I don't play sport games.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go
usually
play the actual sports. So NBA 2K16 versus SimCity.
Okay. SimCity is fairly popular.
I believe it's the most popular. Yeah, City Skylines I think is the most popular. SimCity I think is the next popular, if I recall.
Yeah, so I would say that one's probably more than 2K.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go with it. I'm not too confident about that. I wasn't confident. I should have tried to convince you. It's 3 million. So
3 million, dang.
Yeah, I was gonna say City Skylines. City Skylines might have been winning against 2K, but I wasn't convinced SimCity was gonna be because I haven't played it and I haven't seen anyone play it. So we got 7 though. We're loving scores like that. Is the quote we got there. All right, let's play again. I gotta get ready to mute. Hang on. This is the game in and of itself. It's literally videos. How is it not blocking these? I demanded a media refund on my ad blocker. Okay, so now we're back. All right. So now we got, okay, never heard of this game either. So we got Driver, that's it, just Driver, versus Far Cry 4.
Alright, so the Far Cry series is pretty popular.
Pretty popular, and I've played all the. I
Okay.
played most Far Cry games. I should say. I shouldn't say played
Mhm.
all because I've not played all, but I played 4, then played 5, then played 6, and then played some of the DLC stuff.
Right. So I'm gonna say Far Cry 4.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree just because I have no idea what Driver even is, and also Far Cry 4, pretty decent game. I think if this was Far Cry 5, it would slam dunk whatever Driver is, but I think Far Cry 4 is still going to win. So, yep, it did 10 million copies, which that seems low for that. Oh, okay. The Far Cries are versing each other. Far Cry 4 or Far Cry 3. Now I'm gonna let John give his opinion. Then I'm gonna give what I know of the fan base. After he's done.
So if I'm basing my thoughts on other series that have a bunch of installments, it sometimes is the case that the earlier ones are like less popular and so less people played them. But I don't know. I would be tempted to say 4 for that reason, but I could also see it being like the popularity went downhill and so less people played it. But I don't know. What do you think?
So, based off of what I know about the fan base, Far Cry 3 is widely regarded. If it's not 5, Far Cry 3 is widely regarded as the best Far Cry game that's come out. Now, Far Cry 5, I would argue, is better, based on what I've seen. And some people agree with that. But the majority of the fan base believe that Far Cry 3 is the best one out of all of them so far. So, I'd be inclined to say Far Cry 3. If I'm wrong, then I'll still die on that hill. But...
Alright, well, let's see. I'm gonna say 3 and we can kill you if,
Alright,
it's
time to die. Oh, 11 million. Okay, hey, it's still 1 though. I don't have to die. Great. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh no, I don't remember the number for this one. Okay, it's Far Cry 3 versus Borderlands 3. But I don't remember what Borderlands 3 was, because if we remembered it, we could rule this out immediately. I think it was more than 10 million, wasn't it though? I swear it was more than 10 million.
Yeah, I think it was like 18?
I don't remember the
think
exact
it was
number, I
like-
just remember it being more than 10 million.
Yeah, so we're gonna go with Borderlands 3.
Alright, locking it in. Oh wow, 22 million. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Okay, now we got Borderlands 3 versus Tom Clancy's The Division 2, which I've heard of this
Okay.
game, but I've never even looked at it, so.
Right, like I've seen it on like shelves and whatnot. I've heard of it. I don't know how popular it is though, because I know Rainbow Six Siege is the most popular of the Tom Clancy book, movie, games, things. I don't know if it's based off a book. I imagine it is because it says Tom Clancy. Anyway, regardless, I'm going to say it's probably less 22 million.
Yeah, I'd agree. I can see this being like 16 million or something, but I don't think it's gonna personally be Borderlands 3.
Right.
Alright, give us the numbers. Oh, not even close. 10 million for Tom Clancy's, so still running
Yeah.
up. And
If it was Rainbow Six Siege, then I would be like, maybe it's higher, but that one.
even still, I really don't see many people, like, at least doing videos on Rainbow Six Siege. Maybe I'm just not in that space enough or something. But anyway, Tom Clancy's The Division 2 versus Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear!
Okay. Metal Gear Solid is pretty popular.
I was waiting for you to say it was
Snake
Metal Gear
is
Solid is
smashed.
pretty solid.
Pretty solid. It's a solid game. I've never played it. Which I think might be a crime. I'm not sure.
Well, I've not played it either.
So either we're both criminals or we're
So.
justified.
We're
in not
both
playing.
criminals.
However, what are the numbers that the
It's 10 million for Tom
Tom
Clancy.
Clancy was at 10 million? I would say it's probably more than 10 million.
I'd hope so. I'd really hope so. Oh, no. It's 7 million. That seems
7
really
million?
low for that type of game, but whatever.
Maybe it's one of those things where, like, I know I've heard a lot about the later ones. There's also one that's like a compilation of them, kind of like the Insane Trilogy. So maybe that one just has more than the original, because people are like, oh, I might as well get the new one.
Right.
But
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in that space, so I didn't know. But like, I was kind of sad to see that. So we got 4 as a score, and the thing that it says is "go for a walk." So, which I'm
It's like,
not
don't touch
doing because it is 100 degrees outside, and no thank you.
freaking It's too hot to go for a walk. If it's still hot, whenever you guys are listening to it, stay cool. Don't go outside. You'll be burnt to a crisp. And if you do go outside, wear sunscreen.
Also, don't get hit by a car because this next round features car games. So we got Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2010. Thanks for the year, I guess. And then The Simpsons Hit and Run.
Simpsons Hit and Run is a classic. I know that. I think Hot Pursuit is one of the lesser popular Need for Speed games. I hope the Need for Speed community doesn't come after me for that.
They might.
They might. I don't know. I've played Most Wanted, and I know a lot of people like that one. And I've played Carbon, which I'm pretty sure is less popular. That being said, no clue. I would say Simpsons Hit and Run because of the memes. There's so many videos on there that it's like, this game is so hard for a children's game.
Yeah.
So
I don't have any opinion on either of these games. I've only seen memes of The Simpsons Hit and Run. I've never even heard of Hot Pursuit, so yeah, let's go for it. Uh-oh, 3 million. Oh no, 5 million for Hot Pursuit. Darn it. We didn't even win this one.
It wasn't a huge difference in terms of games.
Amazon. No, you should just shut up, Ed. Why do I keep getting ads? It's so annoying. I have an ad blocker, but it's like, screw you and what you believe in. You don't get one. Alright.
Nucleads.
Okay, this one's interesting. We got Tekken 6 versus Helldivers 2.
Okay. I know Helldivers 2 was really popular just before I went away. And I didn't hear much of it when I got back, so I don't know how long it was popular.
It also wasn't a controversy, if I recall. I don't remember exactly what the controversy was.
It's also a controversy.
But controversy does bring in sales for some reason because people are like, oh, I gotta see this for myself.
Someone's like, is it really as bad as people say it is? And sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Who's to say? But Tekken 6 is pretty well known, I would imagine. At least the series is. I don't know how... Again, that's one of those games where I've heard of it, don't know much about it. I'm gonna say Tekken 6.
I'm not sure about that, because I think, if I'm in a series and I get to the 6th game, I'm like, okay, what's really going on here? If it's the same type of game over and over again, I feel like the 6th game, it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Helldivers 2 blew up. It exploded. It was everywhere for a while, and then it even had a controversy which spread more awareness of it, whether it was good publicity or bad publicity. So, I'm inclined to say Helldivers 2, but we'll go with Tekken 6 if you truly believe it.
Yeah, let's do it, Al. Let's be wrong again.
5 million. Oh, we just got destroyed. 23 million for Helldivers to 3 million for Tekken. Yeah, I was concerned about Tekken. I wasn't if it was Tekken 1, maybe I could see it, but yeah, I was pretty convinced Helldivers was gonna be way more just because of how much it exploded.
Right.
But since we were wrong, we get to blame John. Isn't that fun, everybody? Don't you love when something bad happens, you get to blame it on someone else? Isn't that great? Isn't that the best feeling in the world?
It is great. Not for me in this particular instance, but usually.
Okay, I don't know. Well, I kind of know how this is going to go. We got Street Fighter 2 versus a game called Monument Valley, which I've never heard of in my entire life.
Yeah, that's another one. I'm like, what? Monument Valley? We're going to go with Street Fighter 2. That's also a classic. I know you punched the car in that one, I think.
Yeah. Okay, 14 million to 5 million. Really, Monument Valley. I must be living under a rock.
Maybe. Not a huge rock.
That's more than the Simpsons game. That's a super, retro and,
crazy.
That's crazy. Okay, I must not know. I must be living under a rock. I've never heard of Monument Valley. Okay, I get full control for John for this one. We got Street Fighter 2 and Final Fantasy... What is this? 10, 11, 12, 13? Is there a 13th one?
There is a 13. There's actually more than 13.
Okay, because it's X and then 3. It's Roman numerals, obviously. It's an X and then 3 normal things. Right. So I'm assuming 13.
So that's 13. Yeah. I know that one was...
Ooh, she's hot. Who's she? I gotta play this game. What? Sorry, what was your saying?
I do know that there's a hot person in it. But that's not saying a whole lot when it comes to Final Fantasy. It's a very common thing for Final Fantasy. They know their audience. That being said, 13, I've seen gameplay of it. I don't know. That's a hard one to say. I'm going to say we're comparing it to what exactly? I forget.
To Street Fighter 2, which is 14 million.
Street Fighter 2, 14 million. I'm gonna say lower. I think it's one of the less popular ones.
All right. I'm giving you full control because I have not played either of these games and I do not follow the Final Fantasy. Oh, you were correct. 7 million. Wow, 7,770,000 for Final Fantasy 13. Okay,
that's very funny.
It's 777, but then it's a bunch of zeros, so it's not quite 7. It's not all 7s, but it's and 3 7, which is usually enough for luck based stuff.
There's an Easter egg in Final Fantasy VII, the original, that if you had your health at 777 or 7777, you would do like super ultra damage.
That's funny.
So it's kind of funny given the series, but that makes sense to me. If it had been 15 or 7, I would probably have been like, maybe it's closer. But...
Okay, so we got Final Fantasy 13 versus Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Okay. I would be tempted to say Call of Duty, because a lot, like, as we saw with the other two Call of Duty games that have been on here, a lot of people play them. So, it's probably more than 7 million.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. Let's try it. Oh, yeah. Yep. 15,700,000. So, yep. Oh, crap. Oh, wait. I think I remember this. So, it's Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare versus Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout again. I'm pretty sure Fall Guys was less than 15 million, right?
Yeah, I remember like hearing that it felt lower than I thought.
I think it was like 5 million, wasn't it? It was like way less.
Yeah, so I'm going to say Fall Guys is lower unless we have... minor cases of some serious brain
it's
damage.
11 million, so we still win, but it's 11 million. Okay. Oh no, I don't remember this one. Or no, maybe I do. It's Fall Guys versus SimCity, which I recall SimCity being like really low. It was like that might have been low. That might have been 3 to 5 million.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say that one's lower.
Yeah, 3 million. There it is. Okay, Fall Guys wins with 11 million. Okay, this one's gonna be easy. It's SimCity versus Crash Bandicoot. We already knew Crash Bandicoot and Same Trilogy was way above 3 million, so I'm just gonna not even let John speak for this one. 20 million! There you go. Okay, here's a new one. So we got Crash Bandicoot and Same Trilogy, which is 20 million versus Street Fighter 4.
Yeah. So, 2 was pretty popular. I've heard less about 4. Like, 2 is like the classic one people talk about. 4 might have been past its prime.
Yeah.
So, 22 million is a good amount. I'm going to say less.
Alright, let's go for it. It was way less. 10 million for Street Fighter. Wow, alright. Interesting. Okay, so Street Fighter 4, which is 10 million, versus Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Now, I played that one, and it's alright comparatively to the other ones. I don't know, because, like, I imagine there's a lot of people who got it because, like, oh, Mario and Sonic, my grandkids played that game. I'm gonna buy them for them. So there's a bit of that. Also, it wasn't a bad game. I played it. I think 2012 Olympic Games is my favorite of the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, but that's just me. That one was kind of boring. Like I said, I had that one and I had Winter Games. So I'm gonna say it's lower than, what was it, 10 million?
It's just 10 million for a Street Fighter. Another thing you gotta consider though is that Mario's in the game.
Yeah, Mario and Sonic are, like, the most recognizable characters, like, definitely of the Nintendo branded stuff.
If this was just Sonic, if it was just Sonic at the Olympic Games, I could see this being close. But because I think because Mario's involved, it makes it even stronger of a game.
Yeah. I might just be like, oh, that game sucked, so it's lower, but it probably is high.
Because remember, it's based on sales, not based on, like, how much people like it.
Right, people don't know it sucks before they play it, so...
Right. So what do you want to go with, then?
So I'll go with higher.
Okay.
Because of the recognizability of
Holy shoot! 35 million! Okay!
Screw me. That many sales.
Screw me, I guess. Okay,
35 million.
35, that's crazy. There's no way in hell this wins. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games versus FIFA 12. Who cares?
Oh man, you know FIFA fans.
Yeah, come at me, bros. There's no chance. Absolutely. Yeah, get wrecked with your 5 million. Get out of here. Okay. Oh no, it leaves because we've had 2 rounds with it. I think whatever one we've had 2 rounds with it then leaves, so that makes sense, I guess. All right, we can't just automatically deny everything else now. So we got Rust versus FIFA 12.
Okay, so Rust is a pretty popular survival crafting game.
There's a lot of games that has taken inspiration from it as well. That's another thing. So it's popular enough that there's a lot of mainstream games that have taken inspiration from it.
And so I'm gonna say it's higher.
I agree. I don't think there's any chance in hell. Oh, it's actually closer than I thought. 12 million to 10 million. Okay. Oh boy. So we got Rust versus Terraria.
I think Terraria is probably gonna be higher. I know, like, it's very divisive, I think. Because I think a lot of people compare it to Minecraft.
Which is a stupid comparison.
Yeah, it's just a stupid comparison. Because it's not at all that similar.
Yeah.
I know we played it.
Yeah, I was going to say, we played
know it has at least 3.
And I also know, like, I have a slight bias because I didn't have the most fun with it. But I imagine it's one of those games that, like, I just really have to get into it. Because Minecraft, I got into it immediately. Right. That's why I don't compare these games, because not only is the gameplay and art style completely different, but also that, like, when it comes to my personal gaming experience, I only gave it one shot. I definitely needed to give it another try, right? So, like, it's one of those things, once I get into it more, I probably would like it more. And another thing to consider is people buy these types of games for the mods. And Terraria has some of the most well-known mods and one of the most well-known mod communities. That's another thing we gotta consider.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it's probably higher because Terraria is so well-known and it's got a very active mod community. If your mod community is really active, there's a higher chance your game is played more.
Yeah.
And so therefore popular.
Yeah, if this is wrong, then I'm ending the episode right here. Oh my god! You thought 35 million was crazy. 58,700,000. Woo! Alright.
Alright, well, I imagine whatever's next is going to be lower.
A Need for Speed Pro Street, which I've never even heard of this version of this game. John, you just want to automatically deny it? I think
we'll deny it. I was going to say, I've played a few of the Need for Speed games. Like
9 million. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. 9 million.
That one is probably not a very popular one. Sorry, Need for Speed fans, if you really liked that game.
Man, okay. Crap, no, we can't use Terraria anymore because we've had it for 2 rounds. Okay, Need for Speed Pro Street again, or World War Z.
Okay. I know World War Z is a book and a movie.
Is it based on the game, though? Or is the game based on those things? Or are they connected in any way, though?
I think it's based off the book, but I could be completely wrong. It might just be another zombie thing.
Because World War Z is a typical, like, a very common name. No offense to the authors of any of those things, but...
They're like, how dare you say the name of my book is common? It was super original. And maybe it was at the time, I don't know. But probably not.
Whatever came out first was original, but then it became not original after that.
Yes. But the game, and we're comparing it to...
10 million.
Need for Speed, which is at 10 million. I'm going to say probably higher, because when I hear World War Z, I'm like, I've heard of that. Maybe it's not the same like book, like based off the book or not. I don't know, but probably more than 10 million. Zombie is a very popular genre as well.
Well, this disagrees because 3 million.
3 million. You
Ouch.
know what? It happens. Happens the best of us.
I guess. We got 12, which is our new high score. Your score is in the top 10%. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Alright, we can probably have time for one more quick round here, assuming we don't... I mean, if we get to 12 again, then that's great, but I don't think I don't think we're going to get that lucky again. Unless we get a bunch of things we already know about, then I can see it. Mm-hmm. Dude, if we get Terraria again, we're just instantly denying anything else that comes after it. Unless it's like Minecraft or like Mario Bros or something, then I could see it being a competition, but... Okay, we got 2K or NBA 2K22 or Medal of Honor, the 2010 version.
I'm going to say Medal of Honor.
Really? Okay. I don't know about this game, so I don't... Oh, wow, we lost immediately again. It's 10 million to 5 million in honor of the NBA. I was going to say, I've never heard of Medal of Honor, so my bias was instantly towards NBA just because of that, so...
I was just hoping that maybe it was like one of those things where, like we were saying before, like people got sick of the formula, but who knows? Those people who play those games, I don't know what you're looking for when you get a new one.
I just realized too, how did 22 sell more than the 2016? Maybe some YouTubers play 22 as well. I don't know. I just assumed 16 would be. Oh, this might actually be. saw the first game and I'm like, okay, whatever comes after this is already losing. Maybe not. I still think one has an extreme bias, but this game. Okay, I'm just gonna say what the game is. So It Takes Two, which is that one game. I honestly haven't played it. I was gonna play with John, but I don't know what game console it's on. Because my computer would not run this probably. Or Minecraft.
Oof. Minecraft is it's like one of the most popular games of like most sold copies of all time.
It's a behemoth.
It's hard to get past Minecraft. I'm gonna say Minecraft.
Yeah, I think Minecraft's winning, but It Takes Two. I'm very curious to see how close it is, but oh yeah, all right, yeah, 300 million versus 23 million. So, yep. And remember, these are copies sold. This is not how much money they got. This is 300 million copies, which each copy's $30. That's insane.
Right.
All right, Assassin's Creed. John, do you want to just get rid of this? Assassin's Creed, I'm sorry, but you're not Minecraft, so...
Yeah, it's not going to have 300 million.
8 million? Get out of here. Get out of here. Go home to your parents. You need to go home. All right.
Was it the original Assassin's Creed?
The original Assassin's Creed, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That one, a lot of people are like, you just skip that one. That one's not very good.
I don't even know what this game is. Assassin's Creed versus Assetto Corsa? I don't even know what this game is.
So, given the fact that it's a newcomer, it's unknown, Assassin's Creed's probably higher, maybe.
All right, let's lock it in. Oh my, we live under a rock. It's 12 million. All right, whatever. Let's do. No, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there on a couple losses. It's fine. But we had the big win of 12, which is pretty good. You know the reason I'm ending is because it now finally says go touch some grass. So we're gonna go touch some grass, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna end this episode here today. Higher lower is always an interesting game because obviously there's some games that you're gonna be like, oh well, that's obviously winning, like Minecraft. But there was a lot of ones in there where we're like, I'm not so sure. I could see it being either way. And typically we would lose in that situation. But again, every time John was wrong, we get to blame him. Isn't that fun? So yeah. Even though we get to blame John for his failures, he's still the winner of today's episode, obviously, because that's how this works around here. So he gets to host the next one.
Yep.
And all that jazz. So give it up for John. 3, hip hip hooray. But yeah, John, you got a winner speech for your totally deserved win?
Oh, of course, yes. Well, I feel like, even when I got wrong, most of the time I felt like I had good reasoning for what I was saying. I wasn't just like, I'm going to randomly pick one. So for that, I think I did pretty good.
All right, yeah. There was one where I was like, I don't think he's right about this, and I openly said that, but I forgot which game that was. But either way, it doesn't matter now, because I think that was like one of the rounds where we lost immediately or something, so it didn't matter anyway. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. So thank you guys so much for listening. We hope we approached the conversation, made you laugh along the way. You can find me over on YouTube at FlabsXC Gaming. Post a lot of cool stuff over there. Been uploading a lot of Deltarune. For you guys, it's already over probably. But I've been uploading some Deltarune stuff, so go check it out. I don't know what I'd be doing at this time, because I'd probably be moved at this time. So I might be still settling in. I'm not totally sure. But we have like 1,700 other videos for you to watch. So a lot of content over there. And we already plugged John a little bit at the beginning, but we'll plug him again. So you can find John at Twitch and YouTube at Jeebins Phoebins. And if you want to check out his VOD channel, Jeebins Phoebins VODs as well. I always check on over there to see what VODs he's uploaded. He actually just uploaded another Minecraft SMP episode that I was watching earlier. So a lot of fun over there. And of course he's uploading his Deltarune stuff, although again, actually he might be still uploading Deltarune. He might not be playing it in the moment, but he might be uploading it still on his VOD channel. So go check it out for all the VOD goodness over there. And yeah, check out the Patreon. We have a bunch of stuff over there. Of course, you have all the tiers and stuff. The more you spend, the more you get. Typical Patreon stuff. But we also have the Extended Cut store, which has Extended Cut episodes over there. Me and John haven't done a personal one just yet where it's like just the two of us, but they're still over there. And the first 5 are only $3. That way you can kind of dip your toes in the water, because then it's only $3, not like you spent $5 on a thing you don't even want anymore. That way you can kind of dip your toes, because we skip a couple stuff. We skip like the small talk, headlines, and stuff. It's basically just purely the topic. There's no winner or loser. It's just this person's hosting the episode, that kind of thing. So it's a bit of a different formula. That's why the first 5 are $3. So basically it's that. And speaking of finding us in places, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it. We're on Twitter at The Provokers Pod, so that's the name over there, and then Instagram at The Provokers Podcast Official. So go follow us everywhere on those two places. We'll be posting things when episodes go live, and we'll be posting special announcements and things that are to come. So go check us out over there. Give us a follow, and that way we can stay up to date with our podcast. But that's going to do it. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you guys next time.